think I was going to Vicksburg. Yeah, that's where my accommodation was, in Vicksburg. And so on the Airbnb booking, they didn't say anything about the conditions of the road, right? But once you've paid for it, so now I'm reviewing my payment. Oh, I'm on the road the morning of that trip now. I'm on the road and it says, oh, by the way, the last 10K is dirt road. And I'm like, my bike is a city bike. Damn, right? So again, the daylight ran out before I could get there.
Ooh.
So now it's like 7 p.m. and I got a quarter of a tank of fuel, but I have about 10 Ks to go. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I can make it. Right? So I ignored the fuel station and I just carried on, right? But it was 10 Ks to the town and then another 10 Ks to the B&B, because it was like deep in this rural community, beautiful place. But I didn't know that yet. So now I drive through and now because I'm only driving gear number 1 because I'm on this dirt road in the dark and there's a thunderstorm coming, right? Running out of fuel.
Yeah.
Right. So you can see that the gauge is dropping, bro. You're like, shit. Right. And I know there's no way I'm not going to be able to make it back the next morning. I'm like, nah, but that's a future problem.
Right.
So you learn to surrender the process a lot.
We'll deal with that.
Yeah, right. You can't control the situation at all. You just prepare as best as you can, but you must accept that most of it's going to go wrong.
And what sucks most is you actually ignored
the
station.
Something I should have done something about. Yeah, right. And so, and all along, I'd been getting fuel stations in quite nice chunks of time. So I never never had to use the jerry cans, actually. I never used them at all.
How did you carry those?
Just like saddlebags on the side of the bike.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had a little bike box as well. There's no way you can carry a backpack.
Okay.
So I had a little delivery type box kind of thing on the back of the bike.
And how big are the jerry cans? Like in terms of
15 liters each.
15. Okay.
Yeah. But also they add weight to the bike and they make you skid and stuff. So it's not a good idea, right? Unless you really need to. So I didn't do it.
Okay.
And I also had like I had a pair of boots, some sandals, I think a pair of jeans, some thermal underwear, some sort of fleecy sort of sports pants kind of vibe.
Right.
Maybe 2 t-shirts. It was very like thrifty stuff for a week. Like literally I had to wash things every other day to stay,
Stay fresh.
Stay fresh. Yeah.
Freshish.
Yeah, freshish. Yeah, your breath, bruh. Because you just in that helmet the whole day. Oh, you have to carry mints everywhere.
Oh, man. Oh.
So anyway, I eventually get to the start of the gravel road. I'm like, 10 Ks of this. I was so pissed. And it rained the day before, so now it's mud, gravel. I was so angry at that woman at the Airbnb. I get there and I'm just like, is the kitchen still open? They're like, nah, the restaurant is closed. I'm like, you guys are making me food. I'm hungry. You are going to make me food. I was having none of that shit. Right. So 8:30, I get food, blah, blah, blah. The next morning I wake up, rejuvenated. I go outside, breathtaking place. Because I drove in at night, I had no idea where I was. Right. You look at it like, people live like this. Yeah. Beautiful. And then as to right now deal with the fuel situation in the morning. And luckily, they know people often go through this problem, so they keep fuel on the spot, and then you just buy from them at a premium.
Yeah,
and
of course. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah. It's a business. So
you're
that
paying
worked
for the
out.
convenience too.
So then I leave now, and I'm driving to the next town. So they gave me just enough fuel to get to the next town and get fuel there. And I get to this town, all the stations have no fuel. Right?
Why?
It's just too early in the day. It's so remote. They get deliveries.
Oh, okay.
At very predictable moments, and if it runs out, they have to wait until the delivery is coming. Right? Or unpredictable moments, sorry. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to this breakfast place, and I had this all-you-can-eat buffet. It was like 80 rand. I was like, these people don't know me. Then I sat there for like 3 hours, smashing this breakfast.
That's all you can eat.
Yeah, right? But obviously now I'm losing travel time.
Yes.
Right? Eventually I get back on the road, and I get my fuel in the next town. And I'm now going through the Free State, remote town, and blah, 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 blah. Right. Go through Golden Gate, Clarence, get fuel, and everything's working out, right? And then I get to... So now I've been on the road 3 days by myself in very pristine areas where human beings haven't really messed things up that much.
Yeah.
Right? It's still very natural. And then I arrive in Pietermaritzburg, right? And first thing I do is I went to a shopping mall because I just needed to use the bathroom, right? And you're suddenly really aware of how disgusting we are as a people and the kind of things we do to the planet, right? And everyone's just so angry and so busy and so loud and, like KFC fast food smells.
Yeah.
And it's just, too much. You've gone from very peaceful, serene, zen kind of vibes to just like, imagine like going to like Mr. Price after payday on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That feeling. That's like raw, but like worse because you've been so removed from it. And I've never had... I felt ill from being around people. I was like, oh, motherfuckers, I just can't deal with this, right? And so luckily I then left and I was staying with a friend of mine, and she's white, right? And I met her before she left Cape Town, and I was going to be meeting her parents for the first time, right? And again, I have my ideas about white people, right? And we all do, about anyone really, right? I was like, I hope they're not racist, right? Or at least openly racist, right?
At least be in the closet.
Yeah. Keep it to yourself, it's fine. As long as you feed me, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So I get there, right? And I was only meant to stay there 2 nights. And they turned out to be even more wholesome than she was, right? Like just wholesome people. And the work they do it's someone who lives in Africa who's working on African problems versus I'm a white person who happens to live on this continent and I'm just doing whatever I want to do. So the kind of work they do is focus, and even like the language choices they make when they're talking about SAMP, they'll say umngusho, and they do the clicks, they're bothered to learn about the people around them, and they live in this really different way for the white people that I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They feel like black people wearing like white face,
right,
in a sense, right? Like they know where they are and they
immerse themselves in the culture.
Right? But not to the point, because sometimes you can tell these are people who are trying to fit in, right? Versus actually it makes sense to them, right? And no one coys them into this living, and they're like in the 60s, 70s now, and they've done like written books on like indigenous plants and like interventions in local communities about pollution and helping people in informal settlements, and like this huge scale of things they've done. And we really clicked in terms of life philosophy, that whole off-grid living.
Yeah.
And they only grow plants in their yard from that area. You know, like they consume their own, like tsine, they eat tsine, like blackjack greens, if people don't know, which is often considered a weed. And they schooled me on medicinal plants, right, from the region. And I'm serious about my plants, right? And I'm like, oh, wow, this is a different space. To the point, actually, it's like, can I stay another day? So I end up staying there 3 days instead of 2 days, right? Because I was learning so much from these people and had amazing time. And I was foraging their garden the whole time and cooking things. So I was cooking and they would enjoy their food in different ways, and, you know, that kind of thing. So I wasn't paying rent,
right?
But I was giving back in that, you know, sense, which was something I wanted to do all along the trip. I didn't manage to do a lot of it. And then the next day, I go into Durban now. It's now on the Monday. I think I left on the Wednesday. Now it's Monday. I get into Durban, and then I had a rope shoot with a friend of mine. So I met up with my friend, and when we hung out until like maybe 1 a.m. I'm like, okay, time to get to my Airbnb. And this is the first night of the flooding. Oh. Right. You know, the Durban flooding that happened. Yeah. So now I'm on the highway. I had to drive like 5-10 Ks, right? But you know, I don't know if you remember that Cape Argus when the wind was picking people's bikes.
People's bikes, yeah.
It was like that, but it's raining as well. And the highways are along the coast. I've never been that close to death in my life, right? I'm on the highway doing like maybe 60 Ks an hour. The rain is so intense, you can't see where you're going. You're just hoping for the next white line, for the next white line, right? And my boots, because I got biker boots, my boots are on the ground to balance the bike. It's not like I'm bracing. They're literally skiing on the ground, right? And then out of nowhere, this huge pothole, like a gully. It wasn't even like a pothole. The whole bike goes in, goof, goof, and I come out and you just keep going, right? Because now I don't know where I am, how the danger levels, whatever. I eventually get the Airbnb. I'm like, oh, I made it, right? Which a friend of mine offered to me as well. She lives in Denmark, but they've kept the flat there. I get there and I'm just like, thank God I made it, right? I'm done. I need to go to sleep. It's like 1 a.m. now, 1:30. So I'm like, to security, can I leave the bike here? Yeah, cool. And my friend said, you can park your bike there. No worries, right? So they've got one of those complexes where there's no wall. The door is the wall. The first thing you do is you just enter the complex.
Right.
So I left my bike right in front of that spot. Then I went to sleep. Next morning I wake up and there's water in the flat. I'm like, what's going on? Right, this is weird. But because of the rain, someone's balcony had trapped water in. And it came in. They have a really poor balcony design. So the balcony is higher than the room. So the water flows in, into the flat, out of the flat, through the corridors, into my flat. Right. I was like, what the hell? So I go downstairs to security to explain the situation. Can you phone these people? Because they were not there, right? In any case, let me see how my bike is doing. I look outside. The bike is gone. right? So I'm like, oh, this is actually great, right? I've never felt like such a relief in my life, right? Because I had booked all the Airbnbs along the way, right? And I was meeting a friend of mine in Cape Town on that Friday. So it's Monday now, and the Friday I had to be back in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And this person was flying in from Joburg to see me, right? So I had to be back, right? So in my mind, I was going to make the trip no matter what, regardless of the flooding, right? But I don't know if you ever felt this way, but I was hyper aware of the fact that I was going to die. I knew I was going to die if I kept on driving. It was inevitable. And if you look at the news reels after those few days, all the flooded roads and eroded roads and stuff, I was going to die, right? And I knew it with such certainty. But because I'd made commitments, I was just going to power through.
You're just going to, yeah.
Right. So the bike is going, I was like, oh, thanks, gods. I have never felt that good about something like that happening to me.
And this is a freaking bike.
Yeah. So this thing's worth like 30K.
Yeah.
Right? Gone. I was like, oh yeah, that's wonderful. Right. So then now I go back upstairs. I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. I have to go report it, obviously, to get my insurance money, blah, 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 right? But now the door has taken up the moisture from the rain, right? So now I can't close the door from the outside. I can only close it from inside, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm marooned in this flat, right? So I just had to like really force it closed, but I also did damage to the hinges and stuff. Go into the police station, reported the case, got a case number, went to Pick n Pay to buy groceries. Now I'm stuck here. I can't drive away. Went to the beach, because I was staying like 50 meters away from the beach.
Okay.
Went to go see the beach, blah, blah, blah. Came back to the flat. And after that, I realized I actually can't leave this place until I get a flight out. Right? Because I would only close the door maybe 3 more times after that without really doing damage to it, because I really had to like bang it closed. And then I was like, actually, no, it's fine. Let me take this as a break from the actual road trip and just focus on creative pursuits. So then I started painting and drawing and sketching and reading. There had a lot of books. I started reading. And a friend of mine who I'd done the rope shoot with then recommended me to a friend of hers who I'd never met before. She came to visit the one night and we did a rope shoot as well. It was fantastic. And so now, because of this theft, I was marooned in this room. I couldn't leave that room, that flat, right? Until that Saturday. So from Tuesday morning until Saturday, I was in the same space by myself, right? I had all my food, my groceries, blah, blah, blah. I only saw one other human being.
Damn.
Internet ran out like the first day. So like I was just by myself. So it was very same as a bike trip now, solo experience, except now you can hear people outside, you can see the beach and it's lovely. The weather eventually cleared, so it's like sunny days and you're just like indoors by yourself. So that was also quite a hectic challenge to try and, you're like in solitary basically. Because like in prison, you can see everyone else in general, or you know that everyone else in general population is having a good time. They get their 1 hour in the yard, right? And maybe if a little windy, you can look outside, but you're by yourself. It's not like everyone on the planet died. Nah, everyone is still here, but you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, your mind goes to hectic places. And eventually, I book a flight to leave on the Saturday, right? And then I remembered, oh snap, the paperwork was for insurance, right? The insurance, I'd been paying my insurance all along for bike number 1. I was now on bike number 2. Exact same bike, just exact same bike. Just I bought a new one of the same bike, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, will insurance pay for this bike? Because as far as they're concerned, I'm paying for bike number 1, even though my registration is now for bike number 2. Shit, what do I do? And then I was just like, actually, no, it's fine. I didn't die. There were things in life. And if they don't pay out, they don't pay out. And I already knew they were not going to pay out. That's what I knew in my mind. Like, because insurance is always trying to get your money.
Yeah.
Right? Or keep your money, rather. And then so I phoned my broker when I came back after the road trip. Now it's a flight trip. And he's like, oh, yeah, I don't think they'll pay out. But anyway, let's just try and find out. And they paid out the full amount minus 1,000 rand.
You lie.
Yeah. I was like,
were they just nice to you? Or?
Yeah, no, I'm just like, listen, this is what happened. Here's my proof here, blah, blah. They're like, okay, cool, do the paperwork and we'll make this happen for you. And most of the people from the Airbnbs, I'm like, listen, I can't make the trip. Just give me back my money. I need to buy a new bike, blah, blah, blah. It's intrinsic to my business. Yes. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. People gave me back my money. Then I did a fundraising effort on Instagram for the business, the tappy thing. I'm like, listen, I need to get a new bike. It's essential for my livelihood. I managed to raise 5,000 rand.
Yeah.
which was a third of what I needed to buy the bike I have right now, which is my temporary bike.
Yeah.
Right. And then insurance paid out. I'm like, oh snap, insurance paid out. So now I can buy the original bike because it's safer. And the funds I raised now can buy equipment for the business, right? So the fundraising actually led to. So this whole trip led to an improvement in my business project.
Yeah.
Right. And now I can do more meaningful things for my work. I was like, what a wonderful outcome, right?
And
this
bizarre.
thing. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
bizarre experience, right?
Wow.